Hi everyone, Sam Wenzel here, and today I want to talk to you about my Mora knives, or Mora knives in general. So I have a small collection of Mora knives here, and these are not the only knives I own. I do have others, and I do use others for different things, but I want to talk to you about these Moras I have, mostly for carving, but some for bushcraft or woodscraft purposes. And I do have these knives for putting on carving workshops, so introduction to carving, spoon carving, that sort of thing that I do under Sam's Woodland Tours. But I'll talk about some of my favorites here. So Mora knives have been around for a long time, and in terms of durability and usefulness, it's a pretty good value for your dollar. Most of them come in around $20 to $30. Some knives that they do make do cost a bit more than that, but for the most part you can get a pretty decent knife for general use out in the woods, or for carving if you're getting started or just doing regular carving. It's a pretty good value. So in terms of durability, I'm actually going to hold one up now that was purchased in 1971, and this has been around for a while. This is actually my father's knife, and he's made his own neck knife sheath for it, but this has actually been holding up pretty well since the 70s. It hasn't been used steady, but it's been used quite a bit, as you can see, and it's now back in use again today. So I have here, I'll start off with the number one, the classic number one. Now I've got two here on the table, actually three. So this is a pretty standard shaped blade. I'll see if you can see that in the camera. And you have the classic wooden handle grip. So it can get a little slippery, so you want to watch out for that. And they do actually sell them with hilts, but for the most part, it's kind of hard to beat this. It's a nice, I believe, birchwood handle, and I actually love these for starting off a spoon blank or something like that, or doing most of the work for carving. So I find them quite handy. I know Mora Knives there for a while. That was his favorite type of knife, or at least when he wrote the bushcraft book. I have another one that I have. It's another classic number one. And I put a little bit of paracord on through the handle, or sorry, through the sheath. And this allows me to wear it around my neck for carrying around camp, or just have a quick place to drop my carving knife if I need to stop carving for a second. I put it there for convenience. The thing about the Mora knives is you're not spending a lot of money, but you are getting a fairly decent blade and usually a pretty good handle for what it is. And my only complaint, but it's really not much of a complaint considering how affordable these are, you do end up with a plastic sheath, and I'm not a huge fan of plastic, but I've never had one break, and I've been using these for quite a while now. And in fact, this one from 1971, it's only in a leather sheath, a homemade sheath now, because my father wanted that, and he decided to make one out of leather he had kicking around. The plastic sheath is still intact, so it does hold up. I suppose you could break them if you really worked at it. Just as a note, depending on where you're shopping for your stuff, you can actually go online and order knife blades from Mora. Either, I think this was from Amazon, you can get it probably directly from, or from other sources. And you can actually personalize the handle. I haven't done that yet with this one, but this is another, I believe, another classic number one or something close to that. And that'll be a fun project for making another bushcraft knife, or another one for up there. So, in terms of carving, I'll stay on carving for a minute. We have here a carving 120 blade. So it's same size handle, except not painted red. The thing about this is we have around a 2-inch, roughly around there, blade. And I like this blade for smaller detail. So if you're doing finer cuts with your carving, this is actually one of my finest tools at the moment. I do have some other things for carving, but this is actually doing job for a lot of small detail work for me. And I have some hook knives. I don't know if you're able to see them on the table, but I'll hold them up for you. I've got a 163 hook knife, and this is actually it's probably my favorite, but I notice when I do carving classes that other people go for the other ones. But the thing about this is, you can actually have both sides of it sharp, so you could actually use it as an ambidextrous knife, or back and forth cuts, different angles. So if you're cutting out a bowl of a spoon, or a bowl of a cup, or even just a bowl, or anything, any kind of carving you'd want to take out a hollow, make a hollow in your wood, this is actually a pretty good one. Now I mentioned before that when I do the carving classes, I find a lot of people have a tendency to go for the 164s. And this one, trying to stop it from rattling, this one's just got an edge, a bevel on one side, and it hooks right around. I'll hold that up so you can see. And it tapers out at the tip. This is actually pretty good. I find it best, I use it different ways, but it's got its own value in it, I'll say that, but I'm a bigger fan of the 163. Everyone has their own preference, so I give the option of trying out both kinds. And last but not least, I will mention that these are not the only knives that Mora makes. They have a wide selection. You can check out their stuff on their website. In terms of going out in the woods, if you're not a fan of the wooden handles, I usually am. Like I said before, I'm not a big fan of plastic. But this knife did catch my eye. I believe I might have even caught it on sale. And this is the companion. So it does have a little belt loop, or belt clip. I don't often wear it on my belt just because I don't know if I 100% trust it. Also, sometimes I have wider belts than what that clip would allow me to put it on. But all in all, I love the fact that the sheaths actually have holes at the ends, so you can drain them, or drainage, so it doesn't hold the moisture in. This blade is very similar to the classic number 1, but I wanted to try it out and get one, and I actually do use this for carving, and I do take this out in the woods sometimes, or I'll leave it in bags for just to have. So this does very much some of the same stuff that the classic number 1s do, except the only thing about this is we actually have a very comfortable plastic, or a very comfortable like rubber style grip, and we do actually have a little finger guard, so you're less likely to have your finger slide up on the blade, and it's actually very comfortable to hold and very comfortable to use for a very long time, so it's kind of hard to argue with that. Whereas I find a long use with the wooden handles, or any kind of wooden handled knife, you will notice that if you're not used to working with wooden tools. This one is actually most comfortable, and I've actually given this, or knives like these, as gifts. So all in all, for the value, for the price, it's actually pretty good value. For other things, you may want to consider different knives, but if you're looking into knives and you're considering Moras, like I said, it's kind of hard to beat them. So I hope this is helpful to some people, and you can, as always, I hope you feel free to click like or make comments down below, subscribe, and that's all for now. Thanks for watching. Bye.